Hey, what's going on? Appreciate you for tuning in to another episode of Chomping at the Bit. We're on to the second round. The Celtics made it through the series against the Orlando Magic, beating them 4 games to 1 in a very physical series where got to give Orlando credit. They kept a lot of the games close until the Celtics were kind of able to push through in the second half. But that series is behind us. Now I have to look forward to Celtics versus Knicks in the second round. Now, in this one, I'm going to go through, I guess, my three keys for the Celtics, as well as the three keys for the Knicks if they're going to make this series a bit more interesting against the Celtics, who obviously will be the favorites going into this. I'll break down numbers and everything like that. But yeah, ultimately, I'm sure the reason why you tuned in, you're going to want to know my prediction for the series. So I'll give you that here at the end. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in to this matchup. First thing I'll look at, tail of the tape. Now, the Celtics did win the season series 4-0, sweeping the Knicks. But I don't necessarily want to look too much into that because we're into the playoffs now. It's different. Like if you watch these games, the defense, the intensity, like every year, different from the playoffs, the regular season. But I'm just pointing out that the Celtics did win the season series, sweeping the Knicks. So, how did we get here? Like I said, we'll start with the Knicks. Obviously, we'll start with the road team. The Knicks beat the Pistons 4-2 in a series that, when you really sit down and look at it, as much as the Knicks, well, I guess the Knicks did beat the Pistons 4-2. You could kind of look back and see the Pistons could have won this series 4-2 just as well, or at least this series could have been going to a game 7. But the Knicks got it done, and in that series, it basically boiled down to inexperience from the Pistons late in games working against them, where they made some decisions that were questionable, missed some shots that they were making earlier on, not getting into sets quick enough, stuff like that. And the Knicks took full advantage of it. So you got to give them credit for that. Not taking that away from them. But like I said, it was a series that could have gone either way. But here we are with the Knicks. During that series, the leading scorer for the Knicks, obviously, Jalen Brunson, 31.5 points per game. Rebounding, Karl-Anthony Towns at 10 boards a game. Brunson led the team in assists, 8.2. Anunoby in steals, 2.5 a game, and then blocks Towns with 1.3. So the Knicks are coming in. Brunson and Towns doing a lot of the work for them. But like I said, we'll get into that here in a little bit. For the Celtics, like I said, they beat the Magic in 5 games 4-1. Tatum led them 31.2 points per game. Also 11.2 rebounds led the Celtics. I know he's averaging a double-double. I believe assist-wise, I think he was around 5, but he put up really good numbers. Once again, I'm not going to go down that road because we're back in the playoffs. And once again, Tatum is nope, not going to do it. But Holiday led them in assists, 5.5 a game. We'll have to see where he is in terms of health-wise because he's dealing with the hamstring. Porzingis, 1.8 steals, and then blocks Horford, 1.8 blocks per game in that series. And the storyline from that one, Celtics were just the better team, even though the Magic made a good fight of it, but the Magic still have deficiencies offensively where they can't really hang with the Celtics to beat them 4 times in 7 games. They broke through and won 1, but they couldn't obviously do that more than once against the Celtics team that didn't get a great series out of Porzingis or the bench necessarily, but it's still enough for the Celtics to win in 5 games. But like I said, we're going to put all that aside. The first round is over. We get TD Garden versus Madison Square Garden. You get Spike Lee versus Who's the most well-known Celtics fan? Is it Donnie Wahlberg at this point? Maybe. We'll go Spike Lee, Donnie Wahlberg. It's Boston, it's New York. Like this is what media loves when it comes to playoff. Red Sox, Yankees, always a big deal. Celtics, Knicks, back in the day had their thing, and then for a while it really dropped off. Hopefully, as a fan, this is something that becomes almost an annual thing. We'll see. But we already got that out of the way. So now the keys to this series for me. So I'm doing this as a Celtics fan. I'm being as unbiased as I can when talking about these two teams. Once again, start with the Knicks. So the Knicks are going to upset the Celtics, draw the series out to 7 games and make it whatever. Anunoby and Mikal Bridges need to make an impact both ends of the floor. That's baseline for them. Because Anunoby and Bridges will have a lot on their plate defensively, obviously, defending on the wing. They'll spend time on Tatum. They'll spend time on Brown. They might have to face like Derek White. They may even get switched on to like a Porzingis or a Horford or something. So they'll have to do their work defensively. But offensively, they need to show up. They'll have to, between the two of them, one of them will probably have to be a consistent third scorer on a given night. Because obviously the Knicks will be planning on Brunson and Cat to lead the way for them as the double-headed monster on offense. But to beat the Celtics, you have to have depth scoring. So Anunoby and Bridges, one of them will have to step up and be the third. Doesn't need to be the same guy, just on a given night, one of them needs to. Second one. This one also comes from the Magic series. You're going to have to chase the Celtics off the three-point line. Now, the Celtics did beat Orlando, like I said, in 5, while not necessarily taking the volume threes that they have all season. So with the Knicks, they need to also replicate that. Because if they don't, you might see a few blowouts in this series. Not going to lie. Because with the Celtics, as we saw in the regular season, they may struggle for a stretch. But then once they get that one game where they unlock it and they get hot from outside, look out. They become a very dangerous team. So the Knicks are going to have to do the same thing the Magic did, chase them off the three-point line, force them to take, contested mid-range shots. And if they get to the rim, have somebody there to contest. And then 3, I think Josh Hart needs to be disruptive. Now, disruptive in a few ways. Obviously, defensively, he's going to have to do his thing on that end. That's a given. Like, whatever. Offensively, he can't be invisible. Because there's a good chance that with the Celtics, they will put Porzingis or like Horford on him, then have them kind of sit around the paint in case there's dribble drives and they can contest at the front of the rim. So if that happens, one, if Brunson or whoever kicks it to Hart, most likely in the corner, he's going to be asked to knock down a few shots, even at the top. Because I feel like a lot of times you'll see Hart kind of open at the top, and he'll have to knock down a couple of threes. The other way he can be disruptive, shot goes up. If, once again, his man has sagged towards the paint, he can crash the boards, and if it's not get the offensive rebound himself, get a deflection, tipping it back out to the top to, kind of get their set reset and try again on offense. So, yeah, if you see the games and Hart is kind of being a pest or whatever, Hart's doing his job. Because he's not going to be some 30-point per game scorer. That's just not who he is. Look, if Josh Hart were, 6'10", he might be a really good player. He's got 6'10" mentality in his, I don't even know how tall he is, but he's shorter than that. So I think those are the 3 biggest things for the Knicks in this series. There's a couple of the keys as well. Like, I don't know, Thibodeau's rotation. What's that going to look like? Is he going to burn out the starters once again? which if he tries that, it's going to take a toll slowly with this team. So if he does turn to, even if it's, 2, 3 guys off the bench, will they be productive in this series? Yeah, so those are 3 keys. The top 3 keys. There's more, but like I said, those are 3 I'll go with. Now, for the Celtics, very simple. Tatum, be the best player on the floor. What does that look like? That does not mean he has to be the leading scorer, dropping 35 a night. I think we're way past that with him. Because what last year should have shown people, even though nobody wanted to pay attention, Tatum has turned himself into a well-rounded player and a very smart player. Obviously, if his shot's going, he'll kill you that way. But if it's not, once again, like we saw last year, he'll become a playmaker and get other guys involved. So when I say best player on the floor, yeah, the scoring should be there. Rebounding, which I feel like is an underrated thing that nobody talks about with his game. Because like I said, against Orlando, he averaged 11 boards a game. So rebounding, he's going to help out on that end. He plays 2 ways. He plays good defense. And then the assists, getting other guys involved. Because that's how you can turn close games into blowouts against the Knicks. Get White going, Pritchard going, Jalen Brown, Porzingis, Horford, all that. A lot of that stems from Tatum's action on offense. So be the best player on the floor. 2, Brunson and Cat, make them work both ends of the floor. We saw this a lot during the regular season where they ran a lot of action, pick and roll, pick and pop, through Brunson and Cat's man. Now, if they don't run that action, a lot of times what they did was, if Brunson was off ball, run screen action off ball with like Porzingis and then work Porzingis against whether it's Brunson or whoever mismatches in that free throw line area. So you got to do that with Brunson. Make him work, tire himself out, force him to run around and all that, being posted up against by bigger guys, really being physical. Cat, we know, pick and roll is not his game. Celtics love running pick and roll, especially when you have Porzingis and Horford out there. So, like I said, they got to work both ends. Third one, get Porzingis going. Despite beating the Magic in 5 games, Porzingis did not have a great series shooting-wise. Game 5 was a little bit better because what Missoula did later on in the series, change it up. They spent a lot of the early part of the series trying to post up Porzingis in that free throw line area. His shot was just off. As he said after one of the games, his shot was janky. Later in the series, they put him in pick and roll, but had him rolling to the front of the rim. He was taking passes, dunking it, or finishing at the rim. So I think we'll see a mixture of both versus the Knicks. But yeah, between he and Horford, look for them, pick and roll action. And for Porzingis, hopefully, facing his former team, you know the video. You'll probably see it all week now. The Michael Rappaport, Tingus, Tingus, sorry, that's what it is. You'll see that all over the place. Let the Knicks know what they missed out on. So those are the 3 keys for me. And obviously the extra key, since I gave you one with the Knicks for the Celtics, would be bench guys and Pritchard and Hauser, looking at them to probably score a little bit more in this series because, I think Pritchard had to do more of the other stuff against the Magic where his scoring wasn't there. I'm looking for those 2 to have an impact against the Knicks in this series. So with all that out there, my prediction, I don't care about Madison Square, Washington Square, Times Square, Celtics in 5. That's all I'll say. So appreciate you for tuning in. Would love to hear from you. Down in the comments, let me know your prediction for this series. Who do you have winning it? How many games? If you want to give an X factor, would love that as well. Let me know down in the comments. So, till next time, I'm out of here. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe. God bless. I'm out. All right? Bye.